Hello and welcome. The title of the message today is Let It Go. But let's begin by affirming our opening statement. There is only one presence and one power in my life and the universe, God. I invite you to take a deep breath with me, gently but fully filling your lungs, and release, relaxing into this moment, opening ourselves to Spirit, the teacher within us, so that we may take from this message exactly what we need and leave the rest for another time. And so it is. Amen. So let it go. This is the first Sunday of 2025. We thrive in 25. Let that be our slogan for the year. But how can we thrive in 25? What can we do to give us an assurance of this abundance and prosperity, wholeness in our life? We can let it go. Jesus talks about forgiveness. There's that word that's translated to forgiveness. The Aramaic word, difficult for me to pronounce, so I won't attempt it. But I'd like to talk about that word in relation to 2025 and letting it go. Because that word that we translate as forgiveness, sure enough, it does mean forgiveness, but it has such a deep meaning that goes beyond forgiveness. Like most Aramaic words, they have a depth of meaning. This word also can mean so much more than just forgiveness. It implies unbinding, untying, unknitting, releasing, unbinding, forgiving. And that's what we're doing when we forgive. We are unbinding ourselves. Our ego consciousness, our sense of separate self, holds accounts against others, against ourselves. And these accounts bind us in knots of tension and constriction in our body. They shut us off from the flow of life through us. When we are in this bound state, this constricted state, we are not able to fully digest the impressions that we receive. Remember, there are different levels of food. There is the food we eat and drink. There is the air we breathe. Now we're getting finer and finer, and the finest that we bring in is impressions. And when we bring them in from a constricted state, the sense of being separate, the sense of holding accounts, we get spiritual indigestion. To digest these finer foods, we have to be in a state of openness to receive. It's a state of knowing our connectedness, one to another and to the universe itself. Our mind, our thinking mind, our rational mind must be opened, brought into alignment with our heart. When we can bring our rational mind in alignment with our heart, our organ of spiritual perception. Blessed are the pure in heart, for they shall see God. Then, in this state of harmony, I is what Jesus calls it. Not I am. I. is the truth and the way. This state unbinds us. It allows us to digest our impressions, to see them in a different way, to take them as food for our growth, moving us towards a full realization of living in this unbound state. I'd like to read for you from the Gospel according to Matthew, chapter 6 and verse 12. It's part of what we call the Lord's Prayer, but it's so important to the message of Jesus. In fact, every statement in the Lord's Prayer is emphasizing the teaching of Jesus. You might call it a condensed version of all of the Bible. And so, the Gospel according to Matthew, chapter 6, verse 12, in the Lamsa translation, from the Aramaic language that Jesus spoke. And forgive us our offenses as we have forgiven our offenders. Unbind us from our offenses, even as we are unbinding our offenders. You see, the sense of separate self. When it is bound, it sees this same binding in everyone. We begin to hold accounts not just of ourself, but that which is in us is projected outside onto everyone we meet. It helps us. There's a reason for it, because it does help us to see ourselves. We can easily see the faults in others, the faults that are difficult to see in ourselves. So we unbind our resentments of others, and we unbind ourselves in this same process. So, freeing ourselves, let it go. Let this be your slogan for 2025 as we thrive in 25. Thrive in 25. Let it go. Begin to perceive the impressions that the world brings you in a new light, from a light of openness, as opposed to a light of constriction. From a light where we have let it go, where we are open to receive this finest food that is so necessary for our full realization of our Christ itself. Let it go. Thrive in 25. Let's close by affirming our prayer for protection. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is. Have a happy new year. Let it go. Thrive in 25.